What's up everybody, once again my name is Matt and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. In the last episode we talked with the Vice inside the Thunderhead and learned that if we want to find the Triforce, we need to learn the Song of the Hero, which is sadly split up into 4 parts. The Vice himself knows the last part of the song, but the other 3 have been entrusted to the dragons of the 3 major provinces, Faron, Eldin, and Lanayru, which means we're going to be going back to those parts of the world and trying to convince the dragons to teach us their parts of the song. Now, I'm going to do this in order, so I'm going to go into Faron first, but you can go in, any order you want to. However, I think there is a bug in, earlier versions of this game that do soft lock the game if you mess something up when not going in the correct order, so it's probably best to just start off with Faron and then go to, Eldin and Lanayru last. A Report Master. An unusual phenomenon is taking place in Faron Woods, making it impossible to descend directly into them at the moment. Right, so we can't land in the woods area of the Faron province, but we can land at the sealed grounds or behind the temple. I recommend landing at the sealed grounds, and you'll see why once we actually make our descent. So just trust me on this one, guys, because as soon as we get down there, well, something is going to trigger with you-know-who, which means a lot of fun for us. Sarcasm intended. Link, bad news. That beast looks like it's about to break free again. Gotta get into position. Hang tight. Yep, we're already going to fight the Imprisoned for our 3rd time now. Are you guys getting sick of him yet? Because I know I am. Whoa. Feels like that seal's gonna give way any second. But no need to panic. You know what the Grucinator can do, am I right? As long as I'm at the controls of this bombshell beauty, I don't even know the meaning of the word defeat. Flinging bombs on this monster's face, defending the land, it's my purpose, I think. It's why I'm here. Anyway, Link, I've got work to do. Try not to get in the way of my shots, okay? Well, I'm glad to see Groose has got his confidence back. Anyways, he's right, we do have work to do, so let's descend into the very bottom of the pit and start the Imprisoned fight for the 3rd time. Alright, say it with me guys, it's the Imprisoned. So yeah, he doesn't look too different this time around, but there is one major difference. Well, look who's finally back. Good thing too, because I was getting tired of waiting to put a hurting on his ugly mug. Link, let's do this. Our game plan is the same as last time. You know what to do. That's right, first things first, run the heck away from him, man. Make sure you put some distance and then try and stun him with the Grucinator because, well, you're basically never going to damage this guy at all if you don't stun him during this, first section of the fight because his tail is, going left and right across the ground, and if you're behind him, it makes it incredibly hard to get up close to him because, yeah, the tail will just knock you right out of the way, and I'm pretty sure that's the only thing new in this section of the fight. I don't think his tail was there in the other 2 fights. At least I don't remember it being there, or if it was, it wasn't, swinging left and right, knocking you about. So yeah, it's a little bit harder to get up to this guy without stunning him with the Grucinator, which is why I'm pretty much only going to be attacking him when he is stunned, at least in this first part of the fight. I don't think he does anything crazy like slithering on the ground or trying to climb up walls. I'm pretty sure he just tries to walk, so it does make it slightly easier to take out his toes, but it's still not exactly the easiest thing in the world, since he can kind of just wombo combo you, getting hit by the shockwave of his feet, and then by the time you get up, his tail is probably going to whack you in the face. So yeah, not exactly the nicest guy around. He's definitely way more annoying to fight on the ground this time around, but we won't be doing that for long. So Yeah, not exactly the worst thing in the world. Anyways, hopefully this hits, and there we go. So, after we take off the last of his front toes, it should trigger the, I guess, second part of this fight, if you will, which is actually a lot easier than the first section, believe it or not. Like, I'll be honest, this is probably one of the easier Imprisoned fights in total. It's just that this first segment takes a little doing to knock him down for the very first time. And of course, you know, the Steam thing that I need to ride up is the farthest one that it could possibly be. So that's just great. Hopefully he stays down for a little bit longer so I can get this first hit on him. Come on. Alright, thank goodness, man. I would have been so mad if he had gotten up before I got that first hit. Like, you have no idea. Now the fight becomes a lot easier because, well, I guess the Imprisoned, he's getting sick of getting beaten by, you know, walking on the ground. So he grows this weird halo thing, and now he can fly directly to the temple. Whoa, since when did it learn how to fly? It's headed straight for the temple, but there's no way I'm letting it get there. Big Ugly's going down burning. Alright, so we could, like, attack it with the Grucinator, but there's a much easier way to deal with him. Head down here to the center and go inside this giant air current. This will bring you all the way up to the top, and now we have the opportunity to dive down and land right on top of this guy. And that's precisely what you want to do, since if you land on the top, we can actually just completely drive in the spike while we're on top of his head and get our second hit. And that's exactly what we're going to do for our third hit as well. But the game kind of tricks you with this third hit. Like, you'll see what I mean in just a second. It makes you think there's something else that you should do first, but you actually don't need to do it. So, yeah, he's going to sprout the spike one last time. And once we drive that in for the third and final time, we'll be done with the Imprisoned. Oh no! Not good. The road crumbled, and I can't get to the rest of my bomb stash. What do I do? Link, come up to the temple and make your way over here. Hustle up. Yeah, so the game makes you think that what you want to do right now is go to the very top and speak with Cruz, but you actually don't need to do that. If you're patient enough and you trust your own abilities, you can just sort of wait down here, because here's the thing. That giant air current in the middle of the pit will actually return. The only problem is, it doesn't appear until the shadow over it is completely gone. Now, that doesn't happen until the Imprisoned is, like, very, very close to the temple. So, you get about 2 attempts at this before the Imprisoned makes its way to the temple. So, you want to make sure you do not mess this up. But, you know, if you wait long enough, eventually the air current will reappear. Come on, any second now. There we go. And this will shoot us all the way up. And now, we just got to make sure we dive on this guy and do not screw it up. Like, you get maybe 2 shots at this at best, but as long as you make it up there, you'll be fine. And now we can drive in the spike for the last time, and that will do it for the Imprisoned for the third time. But yeah, we will be fighting this guy a couple more times, guys. So yeah, this is not the last of him, sadly. Like, I wish it was, but we're not getting off that easy. Now, Link. Strike the ceiling spike with a Skyward Strike and restore the seal, quickly! Alright, you got it, Granny. Well, Imprisoned, get back in your prison. That was like the lamest thing I probably could have said, but you know what? It works. So now all we have to do is do our Sealing Strike one more time and seal this bad boy away. I like how the Sealing Strike is different every single time. It's pretty cool. Phew, I gotta say, Link, I thought we were goners this time. Sorta glad I was wrong about that. I'm gonna run ahead to the temple. You should get back there too. Okay, sounds like a plan, so let's just make our way back up to the temple. That way we can continue on with the rest of this episode. But, I'll be honest, guys, like, from a gameplay standpoint, not really looking forward to what's next, because I don't know, like, I guess this entire section, like the Faron province, for the verse of the Song of the Hero, just is not the most entertaining part of Skyward Sword from a gameplay perspective. Like, it's not really fun to play, so it's actually kind of tedious and boring, at least in my opinion. Maybe it's not boring to watch, but, playing it, it's not exactly the most fun thing in the world, and you'll see why once we get to it. For now, let's talk with Granny and Groose. The beast has been sealed into its prison for a third time. Indeed it has. Link, Groose, you have both done well. But I fear we can't dwell on your success. The strength of the seal seems to wane with each escape. We are almost out of time, Link. Are you close to discovering the Triforce? I mean, kind of, so yeah, sure. I see. You must seek out the 3 dragons and complete the Song of the Hero to find the Triforce. It is right your search led you here. The Faron Woods are close by. Unfortunately, there has been an unusual turn of events in the woods. I am unsure of what happened, but a short while ago I noticed the path to the woods was completely flooded. To protect the land here, I closed the gate leading to the woods and drove back the water with a simple seal. The seal will only hold as long as the gate remains closed, meaning you will not be able to open it without flooding these lands. Given the situation, I am at a loss as to how you can enter the woods. Heh, is that all? Consider the problem solved. See, that last battle with Big Ugly got me thinking about other ways to use that Grucinator. Just climb up into that bad boy and I'll give you a lift over to the woods, alright? I'll run ahead and get her prepped for you. Come see me when you're ready to take a little flight. Oh my. The boy has made himself very useful, but he does have a tendency to cause trouble for those he helps. Safe journey. I wish you a soft landing, Link. Well, I mean, if the entire area is flooded, like, as long as I do a proper dive, I should technically be safe, right? That's sort of how water physics work in video games, right, guys? We'll be perfectly fine if we get shot out of a stinking catapult over into a giant basin of water, essentially. You know what? I'm just gonna try and not think about it too much. Let's talk to Groose and, launch ourselves into Faron Woods. Want to head to Faron Woods, do you? No sweat, just hop onto the Grucinator and I'll fling you over. Alright, let's do it. Alright, hop in and I'll take care of the flinging. You just worry about the landing. Yeah, sadly, that's the part that I'm kind of worried about. With my machine, the woods are just a fling away. And off we go! And oh yeah, check out that form. That was just perfect. Link, you know, if this whole hero thing does not work out for you, consider becoming like an Olympic diver, because that was just beautiful, my man, beautiful. Anyways, though, yeah, Faron Woods has been completely flooded. And of course, the water is going to make, like, getting through here just a tad more difficult than it needs to be. But first things first, we need to find the water dragon and see if she will teach us the Song of the Hero, or at least her part of the Song of the Hero. So what you want to do is make your way inside the Great Tree, because for whatever reason, that's where the water dragon is hanging out. Like, this whole internal section of the woods is sort of flooded, but there is like a barrier around it, so there are sort of invisible walls that prevent you from swimming outside of like the woods area of Faron Woods. So you can't actually go to the waterfall like Lake Floria, all that jazz. So that's sort of why they moved the water dragon over here, just because you can't access those other areas. Even though they technically are flooded, there are barriers sort of blocking your path. Anyways, though, once you head up into the tree, if we make our way towards this exit, we should find the dragon. Who dares to dip even a toe in my waters without my leave? Oh, I remember you. You're the young human who helped me recover from my injuries some time ago. Ah, Link, was it? Let's have a look at you. Yes, you seem a good deal stronger than the last time we met. And look at that sword. You're the real thing, boy. It's clear you have the spirit of a hero of the goddess. Let me guess, you swam all the way here to try and get me to teach you the part of the song of the hero the goddess entrusted to me. That's all well and good, but I can't go around giving away something that precious to every hero who flounders into my waters. No, I think a final test is in order to ensure you are in fact the one meant to hear this melody of mine. This may be news to you, but some very irksome monsters have been overrunning my woods of late. Well, I decided that I've had enough. The easiest way to deal with the awful things was to flood the whole woods. As it happens, almost every inch of the greenery in this area is submerged, so it's here, in this flooded land, that I will test you. If you're up to completing the task I ask of you, I see no reason why I shouldn't reward you with the melody you seek. As you just saw, I've split the melody you seek among my many tad tones, and I have hidden them around the forest. If you haven't already guessed, Link, here is your task. Take this score and collect all my little musical friends out there. You can use that score to figure out how many tad tones are in each group. Find them, collect them, and bring them back to me. If you can do that, well, then I'll just have to see you as someone worthy of learning the song of the hero. Well, gee, thanks a lot, Water Dragon. So, yeah, we have a ton of these tad tones to collect in order to fill out this musical scorecard, as it were. And it's gonna take us a while, so let's get to it. Now, I should mention that I really don't have a solid method for collecting all these tad tones because they're all over the place, so normally I just pick them up as I see them when I'm swimming around. But I do want to say this, I kind of have a problem with these trials, if you will, because they just don't make any sense given the story. And before you get mad at me for complaining, allow me to explain because I think you guys will understand where I'm coming from. So the Water Dragon said she needed to test us again to make sure we are the right hero. Now, already that is like a load of garbage because we're the only hero, like no one else has even done anything that we've been doing thus far, so that shouldn't even matter. But moments before she said that, she was like admiring our sword, telling us how much we've grown, and like how we have the spirit of the goddess's chosen hero. And on top of all that, we've actually already helped her out before. So really, how much more does she want from us? Like, how much more could we possibly prove to her that we are the chosen hero? And I think the biggest offense, though, is that at this point in the game, we've already met with Zelda, who is the goddess Hylia reborn. And when we met with her, she gave us her blessing of being the true hero by awakening the Master Sword to its true power. And given that the Water Dragon recognized our sword, means that this trial is not needed whatsoever, because clearly the dragon has seen the sword before, So she must know that the only way we could have the sword in its awakened state is if it was blessed by the goddess herself. Like, what more proof could she need? You would think that fact alone would solidify the notion that we are in fact the true hero, but hey, you know, they had to pad up the last third of the game somehow, so I guess I'm wrong. And I know it seems like I'm complaining, and maybe in a way I kind of am, but you guys can sort of see where I'm coming from, right? Like, this entire section, after you realize that, feels kind of unnecessary in a way. And oh no, yeah, after you collect a certain amount of notes, these guys will appear, which really doesn't actually make that much of a difference. Hey Link, some nasty fish seem to have swam their way into the flooded woods. I'd hate to bump into those things underwater. Quee! Watch your toes! Yeah, so if you go anywhere around the surface, you may run into one of those sharks, but you could easily either kill them or just avoid them completely, so really, they're not that much of a threat. Like, there's only 3 of them, so yeah, like, you can very easily just avoid them and not have them bother you whatsoever. Like, I'm not sure why the game thought that, of all things, was going to deter you from collecting all of these tad tones, but it clearly doesn't. Anyways, though, yeah, so, I mean, sure, it does seem like I'm complaining a little bit about this section, but it's sort of unnecessary in the story context, and on top of that, it's not fun to play. Like, I think I would be more okay with this if, it was actually entertaining, and I actually like collectathon-style games, like Banjo-Kazooie, stuff like that, pretty fun, but this just is not fun. It's more tedious than fun, and I think that might just be because of the way you're sort of moving around the level and stuff like that, because in Banjo-Kazooie, you know, you're on foot, there's platforming, there's puzzles, whereas this is just sort of swimming, and it's not like it's even good swimming, because, I don't know why, like, no other Zelda game can compare to the way that the Zora swimming works in Majora's Mask. Like, that is the most fun I've had swimming in any sort of video game ever, and Skyward Sword comes nowhere close to that. Like, the swimming in this game is just slow, monotonous, and it uses motion controls on top of that, which is something you guys know I already do not like. And sure, the motion controls aren't too bad underwater, but, you know, I would much rather have the precision of the analog stick over the motion controls any day. And I feel like anytime I say something negative about the motion controls, there's always at least someone in the comments defending them, and that's totally fine. Like, if you enjoy the motion controls, good for you. But I am of the mentality that, if you're sacrificing easier controls or easier gameplay for a gimmick, you're kinda doing it wrong. And sadly, that's something that Nintendo seems to do a lot. Like, look at Star Fox Zero, for instance. Sure, you can get used to the controls, but they are by no means what I would consider a good control scheme, and it's only because they wanted to make extra use of the Wii U gamepad, and sadly, the game suffered as a result. Like, I think we can all agree that, that game probably would have received a lot better in terms of review scores, and a lot better with the fans if it just had a normal, standard Star Fox control scheme. Like, I know I would have liked it more. Quee! Link, can you hear me? I thought up something good. Why don't you come and chat with me for a moment, Quee? Yeah, no, I think I'm good, dude. I'll just go and keep collecting all these, tad tones. And this is all coming from someone who actually got used to the Star Fox Zero control scheme. Like, I know how to play that game properly with the Wii U gamepad and the gyro controls and stuff like that. The problem is, I still would just prefer a normal, like, control scheme over anything else, just because it would make the game a whole heck of a lot easier to play. Like, there is a huge learning curve in Star Fox Zero, and the developers actually knew that, because if you go back and read some of the interviews, like, that were released before the game came out, like, the developers say things like, oh, we feel like, the players will just get used to them, you know, that's why we included this, training mode and stuff like that, because they knew that it wasn't going to be something that players could easily just pick up and get into. And I feel like that's inherently a bad decision by the developers, because why would you ever want to limit your player base just to either, you know, validate the use of the gamepad or sell some sort of gimmick? Like, it does not make any sense whatsoever. But again, what do I know? Like, I've never developed a game, I've never tried to sell a game, I just play a lot of games and know what I like and what I don't like in games, so I don't have like any professional knowledge or anything like that, but I'm just saying it how I sort of, you know, see it. And I understand that like people have different opinions, but when one of the top Star Fox 64 speedrunners starts complaining about the controls of Star Fox Zero and wishes how they were different, you can kind of see how that would be a problem. Like, if he doesn't understand the controls, none of us filthy casuals will, like, ever understand how to properly control that game. And I think that's sort of a statement on the Star Fox Zero situation. Anyways, I do kind of want to get off that topic because I know I've been talking about it for a very long time, and it really doesn't have too much relevance to what we're doing here in Zelda Skyward Sword. But I mean, this is like pretty self-explanatory. Just swim around the entirety of Faron Woods and look for these tad tones. Thankfully, when you do collect them, they do refill some of your air meter. I guess like the only part that does need some explanation is that each tad tone has like its own group, and you want to make sure you collect all the notes in a specific group in a short amount of time, because if you miss one or don't collect like the next note within the time limit, they all return back to their original position and you need to pick them all up again. So yeah, that's really the only thing that you need to know. That being said, I think there's like only one more group of notes that we need to collect, and that are these guys over here. So as soon as we get them, we should be done and be able to go and talk to the water dragon and learn the first part of the hero song. So, are we done? Yes, we are. Holy crap, thank goodness. Oh, Link, you've gathered all the tad tones, haven't you? That's no small feat, or should I say no small beat, Kui. Ahem. Anyways, hurry and return to the water dragon. Yeah, I'm gonna pretend that you didn't say that because that was an awful pun, my man. Alright, now, problem is, we need to find that tree, so let's actually go to the surface and try and get our bearings. Alright, so it should be directly in front of us. Yeah, it just so happens that, like, the last notes that we collected happen to be, like, some of the farthest from the great tree, so that was just perfect, isn't it? But, yeah, so all we're gonna do now is make our way back inside the tree and, talk to the water dragon. Only problem is I'm not entirely sure where the entrance actually is, so actually, wait, I think it's over here. Alright, cool, so not too bad. We were actually facing the right direction, kinda. Just had to swim a little bit longer than maybe, you know, we actually had to, but whatever, not that big of a deal. At least we found the entrance without, like, having to swim around the tree 4 or 5 times, because I was kinda worried we would have to do that. And please, I need some air, or at least a restock of my air. There we go. Now we should be good to get to the top of the tree without, like, losing any oxygen, because obviously when you do your spin maneuver, it takes up a good chunk of your air, which I kind of wish it didn't, because then you could maneuver around underwater a little bit faster, but not like it really matters anymore, considering we're pretty much done with the longest water segment or underwater segment in the entire game at this point. So, you know what, let's just do it like the noob way and just find an area where we can walk up, because I am not good at doing that water dive thing. So yeah, we'll just head right over here and walk up to the dragon. So I did it, I collected all your tad tones. Can you please just teach me the song? Ah, you have brought back all my colorful little tad tones. You are indeed worthy of being called a hero. This much is clear. I'm good for my word, so I will teach you my part of the song you seek. And with that, we've learned part of the song of the hero. Hooray! Originally, I'd planned to keep these woods underwater so that those awful monsters could never return. But your task is far from over, and you're not exactly at home in the water. I suppose I'll return the woods to their natural state. All this excitement has been rather draining. I believe I'll retire to my hall. You'd best be on your way as well. Alright, so yes, Faron Woods will return to its normal state, and then we can go back to exploring it on foot instead of, like, doing everything underwater. So, that is definitely a good thing. Although, not too sure, like, how often we'll be coming back here, considering we are almost done with the game at this point, so might not be that useful after all. Anyways, though, we're done with that and we learned the first part of the song. Yes, as I suspected, the water level in Faron Woods has dropped. The forest has returned to its former, less aquatic state. Master, the melody you just acquired is one part of the song of the hero. I recommend you seek out the other two dragons in their respective areas to learn the other two parts of the song. Sounds like a good idea, Fi, but of course, we're going to hold off on doing that until the next episode. So if you guys enjoyed this part, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more, consider subscribing. But once again, guys, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.